HOLLOWBODY is a game I've been keeping an eye on for 2 years. How could I not be excited about a retro, futuristic, Silent Hill-style survival horror game with PS2 graphics? Ever since I saw the initial footage, I became the embodiment of that King of the Hill meme where the guy says, "Take my money now." Now that it's officially out, does it live up to the hype? Yes and no. HOLLOWBODY sees us taking control of Mika Holloway, a woman who runs black market products in the city of Bristol in England, and she's going to illegally enter a part of the country that's been walled off after a bioterror attack. She's searching for her partner Sasha, who disappeared during a science mission along the coast of the walled city. They really capture the Silent Hill feeling. You feel alone, the atmosphere is bleak and oppressive, and it has a Silent Hill structure with dedicated maps to explore with large spaces of open city to cross between them. Lots of monsters are in your path, and you'll have to choose which to engage with as you're trying to preserve your precious resources. Just when you think you're sitting pretty, you come up on a section that throws too many enemies at you at once and you have to unload all your supply. I think the game does a pretty good job at balancing ammo management, encouraging exploration with additional pickups so you never feel like you're screwed. However, it is way too generous with the health pickups. I had like 10 when I finished the game. The unlockable hard mode is definitely a more satisfying experience, and I wholeheartedly believe that it should be available from the start. I mean, I'm no pro, I just know the genre pretty well, and if I can make it through, then I think a lot of people can. Combat is suitably clunky for a game like this, with enemies still being a threat once they're on the ground. You either have to get in quickly for a stomping attack or shoot from afar once they recover, because getting close at that point will result in you taking some serious damage from their swipe. We have a classic save system as well, not limited like a Resident Evil game, but you can only save at telephones, and they are definitely not found often. Death has a consequence of time loss, just like it should. The camera is of course one of the main draws of a game like this. Fans of fixed camera angles don't get developers catering to them frequently, so it's nice to see a game like this from time to time. The camera is actually kind of a mixed bag in HOLLOWBODY though. The moment-to-moment camera is following you from behind, but with far less ability to look to your sides, and there's no way to quickly look behind you. So you end up with an even more limited version of Silent Hill's camera, which isn't great. And the static fixed camera, while at times well placed and or drawing your attention to something of interest, tend to be fairly unremarkable in their framing. There are definitely some angles that I love, don't get me wrong. This downward shot in the park is absolutely gorgeous, and this shot on the beach that frames the entrance of the cave from the point of your partner's gas mask in the sand is one of the greatest uses of static fixed camera that I've ever seen. I wish there were more moments like this. Instead, they're rare, and the angular fixed camera in tight spaces, as I noted in my demo review, causes annoying visibility issues that make a lot of the opening apartments level a little frustrating. Surprisingly enough, while I'm happy to get a game using these camera styles, HOLLOWBODY actually plays a lot better in the unlockable first-person mode, because of all the tight spaces and looking around for stuff. It just works better. I ended up enjoying my second playthrough far more, partly because I played it in first person. It feels like it was made for it. While certain survival aspects of this survival horror game are pretty solid, others not so much. More specifically the puzzles. This was really disappointing. HOLLOWBODY starts so strong, with one of the best survival horror style puzzles I've seen in quite some time. It's very involved, with you taking in various pieces of information in a bedroom to discern the safe combination. It's great, and it really got my hopes up. But there's just nothing else after this. All you're doing is putting fuses back in the fuse box. Go over here to get the key and come back. There's nothing else that even comes close to being as thoughtful as the first puzzle. HOLLOWBODY even has one of those cool pressure gauge style puzzles, you know, where you gotta flip the switches to get the readout to a certain value. Or it would be cool if the game didn't straight up tell you the answer on a piece of paper located in the same room. Did they just not trust players to be able to do some simple math? That's not to say there isn't anything engaging happening outside of the resource management. There are some tense sections where getting the items you need to progress involves getting into difficult and dangerous spaces. I really like the part in the subway where you have to go to one floor first to get something, then go to another, and then go back. And because of that, the enemies you don't kill tend to follow you, and you can end up getting boxed in. That was cool. It's just not enough. Seriously, that first puzzle was so good. I was sure the developer had more tricks up his sleeve. This was a real disappointment. There's even a puzzle in the sewer section where you have to find all these hearts, but before you can put them in their destination, the sewer teleports you out. I tried to get back, I even got back on my second playthrough and was teleported again. I was racking my brain over how to solve this puzzle in the moment or possibly get back to the sewer later. Maybe you need an item on New Game Plus to finish it, and then you can unlock the true ending. That would be awesome! But no. I have permission to quote the developer here. Hey, the puzzle in the sewers is a bit of a red herring. You can put the hearts in place by backtracking on yourself as soon as you're teleported to the wrong room, but it doesn't lead to any new content currently. The intention was to make a stressful area, no map, winding rooms, seemingly nonsensical long-winded puzzle, to disorient the player as a sort of precursor to the final tunnel's location, showing that Mika is losing her mind. I have some plans to add something extra there if the game finds its audience, like a little free content secret for players to discover. Okay, so it's a pointless puzzle that's gonna make everyone think there's a special way to solve it, and it leads to absolutely nothing? I don't get it. Personally, I don't think that's okay. This feels like an unfinished part of the game. And my puzzle criticisms, unfortunately, take this video into a tone I don't want it to have, where it feels kinda nitpicky and harsh, pointing out all the flaws of a game made by someone with an obvious strong passion for the genre I love so much. A lot of you know me from Doom and fast-paced shooters, but a lot of other people came to this channel from my videos on Resident Evil and Silent Hill. I love this stuff. And if you know me, this seems like a game I should be drooling over. Every retro-style survival horror game in the past 5 years, I've been here talking them up. But as I sit here writing this script and trying to swat these damn mosquitoes, all I can think about regarding HOLLOWBODY are the negatives. Because the positives are obvious. The occasional fixed camera angles are really cool. The retro-style inventory management, having to open it up to use keys on doors, love it. Really solid voice acting from the protagonist, while still keeping the old-school text reading of the environment. Occasionally well-placed jump scares. A creepy use of real-world VHS footage. The graphical style, the atmospheric sound, and the utterly terrifying sounds of the monsters that give me chills. HOLLOWBODY has that stuff. If that's what you're looking for, you got it. And I'm telling fans of this genre that you should absolutely check out HOLLOWBODY because it's worth the $20 or whatever they're charging for it. But if you're expecting the next Signalis or even the next Crow Country, you're not gonna find it here. So I guess I'm just gonna get into it. Regarding the story, it's pretty hard to get a grasp on what's going on in this world. The backstory is interesting. You'll find lots of notes around that tell the story of people struggling with their personal lives, forced to move, dealing with oppressive government forces, and information about a housing business taking over real estate in the area. There's an audio clip of a girl being bullied by a guy in the park. I'm not sure what the connection is supposed to be. It doesn't seem related to Mika and Sasha, and that doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing, but I couldn't connect what's going on with the monsters and the evil voice on the phone to what's included in all these notes. I didn't get it. I came out of 2 playthroughs of HOLLOWBODY with essentially no idea of what's going on, and I don't know if that's bad storytelling or just me not picking up on certain details, but it's kind of frustrating. So, I don't know what the hell is going on. I got 2 different post-credits endings, but the main ending stayed the same, despite doing things differently. I talked this guy down from jumping off the roof, and he followed me around for the entire game, adding nothing interesting at all. By the end, I still had no idea who he was supposed to be or what he contributes to this story. All he did was scare me a few times, really good. The map is fully rotatable and 3D, very unlike what you typically see in survival horror games, cool, but it doesn't mark any points of interest, so it's essentially useless. I completely forgot about the map after the opening apartment section because I just didn't like using it. The map also doesn't auto-mark doors that can't be opened. Like in Silent Hill, if a door is jammed, you have to try to open it first. It'll say it's jammed and then it's marked on the map as unpassable. But if you come across an entrance that is obviously unpassable just by looking at it, like a door that's been sealed by cement, the map will automatically mark it as an unpassable door. That's smart. But in HOLLOWBODY, even if you're looking right at the boarded up door, the map will not mark it as unpassable unless you physically go up to it and try to open it, which you already know you can't do. This led to constant map frustration for me in the apartments. There's also no difference on the map between an unpassable door and a door that's just locked. Maybe you're looking for that last door that you need to use a keycard on. How are you supposed to identify it by looking at the map when the boarded up doors look exactly the same? This is what I mean when I say the map is essentially useless. It doesn't even show you if you've already entered a room or not. Again, Silent Hill. The map updates with the geometry of the rooms, or at least takes notes of important things you saw there, so you aren't running around with no idea where you've been. Maps as far back as Resident Evil had the courtesy to indicate which rooms have already been visited, even if they didn't make notes of points of interest. HOLLOWBODY's map somehow manages to be both less informative than survival horror maps from 30 years ago, and be more confusing by having no visual distinction between locked doors and unpassable doors. Look, the map layout of floors 1, 2, and 3 are all the same. It's just a big H, so looking at them, it's already pretty difficult to visualize what you saw in those spaces, because 1, the layout is exactly the same, and 2, the map doesn't mark any points of interest. But I'd get to the end of a hall and see that 2 doors were boarded up, so I obviously can't go in. And then I'd go to another floor, explore for a while, and then I'm not exactly sure what to do, maybe I missed something important, and I check my map to see if there's any doors I haven't been through yet. And here the map shows me that there are these doors I haven't checked yet. And since the layout is all the same, I'm not sure if these are the 2 doors I already visually verified were blocked, or if they're 2 other doors that maybe I just haven't seen yet. So I go all the way back there just in case, and fuck, they're the same doors! They're just not marked because I didn't go over there and try to open them when they're obviously blocked. God, this stuff just makes me so angry. Let's keep going. There is no option to start a fresh save without it being a new game plus. You can't exit back to the main menu when you're on the difficulty selection screen, so you have to close the game and restart if you want to go into the options or load a save. There's no return to main menu option during gameplay. You have to close out of the entire game. What the fuck? The game has multiple save slots, auto-saving in slot 1, and if you try to save your game in slot 1, intentionally or accidentally, instead of there being a failsafe to stop the player from saving there, it will instead allow it, no question, and then the next checkpoint will auto-save over your hard save and that data is gone forever. Things like this stick out to me like a priest in an abortion clinic, and they chip away at my appreciation for the achievement that HOLLOWBODY is. There are going to be tons of videos out there lavishing this game with praise for how well it takes us back into the old Silent Hill experience. And I agree, HOLLOWBODY is a must-play for anyone who's into these kinds of games. And I don't want anyone to hear what I have to say and interpret it as me saying this game sucks. No, I liked HOLLOWBODY. It's gonna have a place in my yearly best of video in January, you can count on that. But HOLLOWBODY is the perfect example of a game that I want to absolutely love, but can't because it's got all these things about it that I want to fix. Man, this video has been an emotional roller coaster. So, should you play HOLLOWBODY? Yes, it's a definitive yes. There's enough about it that they get right to recommend it. But there's also a lot about it that rubs me the wrong way or simply doesn't make sense. To the developer, Nath, I assume you're listening to this. I support what you're doing, and I wish you success. I want to see more games from you. I saw the games you did before this, and I understand how much bigger of a project HOLLOWBODY is. I know it's gotta suck hearing an enthusiast like me tear into your games so hard, but don't let me or any other critic negatively impact your passion. Learn from mistakes, celebrate your victories, and make something even better next time. HOLLOWBODY 2 would be very welcome. Thanks everybody, hope you're all doing well.